Babes, if your family ever suggests a group vacation and your immediate reaction is just like pure unadulterated fear.
Same. Oh, it is a completely valid physiological reaction. Like your amygdala fires, your heart rate elevates.
You are instantly scanning the room for the nearest emergency exit.
Exactly, because the concept of a family vacation is just an oxymoron for anyone who grew up in a household thicker with tension than a Florida swamp.
Good morning, babes. Welcome back to the Snark side. If you are a returning snarker, babes, we love you, we see you, and we are so freaking glad to have you back.
We really are surviving another week together.
Yes. And babes, if you are new here, go ahead and subscribe right now because we are absolutely your people.
We are the ones overanalyzing reality TV while actively avoiding our real-life responsibilities.
Literally. But wait, before we get into the absolute carnage of today's breakdown, we have to bow our heads and give a massive shout out to the YouTube gods.
Oh, praise them.
Because, babes, once again, they delivered an early morning drop. And honestly, I am living for these drops.
It fundamentally changes the trajectory of the entire day. I mean, when you wake up and you see that notification sitting on your lock screen at like 6 a.m.
It's the best feeling.
It really provides a structural support to your morning that a balanced breakfast simply cannot compete with.
It feels exactly like Christmas morning.
Mm.
But, you know, instead of getting a weird sweater from your aunt, you're being gifted pure, unfiltered, highly produced family trauma.
The best kind of gift.
Right. There is this beautiful manic chaos to trying to consume reality TV while getting ready for the office. Like, I am standing in my bathroom, I have mascara in one hand, my phone is precariously balanced against my skincare bottles.
It's a dangerous game.
It is. And I am gasping out loud at my screen while actively trying not to poke my own eye out with a spoolie.
It's basically an extreme sport at this point.
Yeah.
But I will argue that consuming this level of dysfunction genuinely improves your morning routine.
Wait, really?
It's an adrenaline spike. It prepares your nervous system for the corporate battlefield. You walk into your morning meeting, and no matter how disastrous your spreadsheet is, or how passive-aggressive Susan from accounting is being, right, you have this internal armor, because you know that, at the very least, your family tree isn't a completely tangled wreath of betrayals.
Oh my God, exactly. Like, I might have missed a deadline, but I didn't sleep with my sister's ex-husband on the night of their separation. Perspective is everything, babes.
It truly is.
And by the way, for our dedicated squad, we did just finish recording our daily gossip recap. So if you haven't listened to that yet, definitely cue it up next.
Yeah, the blogs were absolutely overflowing with mess this morning.
So much mess. But, babes, right now we also just finished our salted caramel frappes from McDonald's. And honestly, the caffeine has me buzzing.
I mean, I don't know what illicit substance they secretly funneled into the ice machine at the drive-thru this morning, but I am vibrating on a cellular level.
Literally. I am ready to fight a bear. They are dangerously effective.
Let's be honest with ourselves, though. It is essentially a milkshake that tricks you into thinking you are participating in productive adult society just because it has the word coffee somewhere in the ingredient list.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
But I am genuinely starting to question if my reliance on iced, highly sugared caffeine has bypassed being a habit and just like become my core personality trait.
I have fully accepted it. It is my personality now.
Same. Friday mornings strictly require emotional support beverages to function.
Yeah.
Like if I do not have a plastic cup sweating condensation onto my desk, I cannot be held liable for my emotional reactions.
It is medicinal at this point. Self-medication, certainly.
Oh, absolutely. And babes, we desperately needed the medication this morning.
Right.
Because before we even opened YouTube, we were dealing with our own personal psychological warfare. We need to talk about family camping trips.
We really do.
I am spiraling. I have been spiraling since 7:15 a.m.
Babes, the family group chat has been going off this morning. I'm talking rapid-fire, back-to-back notifications.
It was a coordinated multi-generational attack. Yes. The little gray bubbles with the 3 dots just dancing on my screen haunting me. And they are all asking us to go on a family camping trip. And babes, I have thoughts.
It's an ambush disguised as bonding, honestly.
First of all, who in my family looked at me, looked at my lifestyle, my skincare routine, my deep aversion to manual labor, and thought, you know what she would thrive doing? Sleeping on actual dirt.
It defies all empirical evidence. It is a complete misreading of your fundamental character.
Thank you. Like, neither of us are built for camping.
Logically, let's just deconstruct the sheer horror of this proposition. We are indoor pats. We require a highly regulated, climate-controlled environment to maintain homeostasis.
Absolutely. The concept of camping is a nightmare. Let's talk about the shared bathroom facility. You were essentially trudging in the dark to a damp concrete block in the middle of a forest.
With a flashlight and a prayer.
Right. And the humidity inside this block is roughly 150%. You are showering in a trickle of lukewarm water while making direct, unbroken eye contact with a moth the size of a dinner plate.
And that is, if you are lucky enough to even have a shower block, sometimes it's just a trench. But it's not just the infrastructure, it's the sensory assault.
Oh, the bugs.
The bugs, yes. And the constant sticky residue of bug spray that never fully washes out of your clothes. It like bonds with the fabric. It lingers for months.
I am practically breaking out in hives just thinking about it.
Uh,
But you know what? The physical discomfort isn't even the worst part.
no.
No. The bugs, the dirt, the humidity. I could technically survive that if I absolutely had to. The actual visceral terror is the psychological torture of being trapped in the woods with family drama for days.
Oh, that is the real danger. People worry about bears and snakes, but the apex predator at a family campsite is unresolved childhood trauma manifesting around a fire pit.
Yes, because there is no escape. Like if you're at a family Thanksgiving at your aunt's house and things get tense, you can fake a stomachache. You can call an Uber.
You can go hide in the guest bathroom and scroll TikTok for 40 minutes. You have geographic leverage.
Exactly. But in the woods, your geographic leverage is zero. You are legally and physically bound to a folding chair while your uncle brings up a perceived slight from like a Tuesday in 1998. You cannot leave.
You are in a tent.
You are in a tent. And honestly, babes, low-key, our mothers are absolutely not built for camping either.
That is the understatement of the century.
Right. I am looking at my mom, I am looking at your mom, and I'm laughing out loud. Because they share some very strong, very palpable narcissistic traits.
That is the most diplomatic phrasing you have ever used. They are highly volatile, emotionally demanding individuals who require constant environmental validation.
Perfectly said. So picture it. How would our moms react to a tent? Imagine the absolute scorched earth meltdown when they try to plug in a Dyson Airwrap and realize the pine tree does not have a three-prong outlet.
The spiraling would be instantaneous. I give it roughly 45 minutes from the moment the car is parked before someone is threatening to walk home down the shoulder of an interstate highway.
Oh, 100%.
My mother would find a way to make the relative humidity of the forest a personal, deliberate insult engineered by the family to ruin her weekend.
Yes. She would be like, you checked the weather app, you saw the dew point, and you brought me here intentionally because you knew I was retaining water.
A relentless campaign of victimhood.
Exactly. So who ruins the trip first? Because I feel like I would crack early. The second a mosquito bites my ankle, I am reacting emotionally. I am going full drama. I am zipping myself inside the sleeping bag and issuing a press release that I am no longer participating.
And this is exactly why our dynamic works so well, because while you were mentally spiraling and reacting emotionally to the hypothetical dirt, I was taking defensive action.
Wait, what did you do?
I coldly broke down the logistical nightmare, assessed the severe psychological liability of placing our mothers in an enclosed wilderness setting, and I immediately replied to the group chat.
Shut up. What did you say?
I gave them a hard, uncompromising, fully punctuated, no. We'll see, let me check my calendar. The official answer is no.
You are my literal hero. You are the concrete wall that protects me from the horrors of the wilderness. I need you to be in charge of all my interpersonal boundaries moving forward.
I accept the role. But speaking of families who are absolutely trapped in a psychological wilderness with no emergency exits,
Oh, the transition.
we have to pivot. We have to
Okay.
transition to the ultimate display of family dysfunction, because our group chat drama is child's play compared to what we just witnessed.
Babes, we need to unpack Mama June, the Thompson family, and this absolute wreckage of a season finale.
The season 8 finale, wedding bells and betrayals.
Yes. Babes, we are avid fans. We have been in the trenches with this family since the very beginning. We have seen the pageants, the transformations, the arrests, the reconciliations.
It's made it all.
But I just watched this finale, and I am literally shook. I am pacing my apartment. We have to dissect this because I am spiraling.
We really do, because this episode operates on so many layers of psychological distress. Let's just set the physical scene first. So the Snark squad understands the baseline stress level before the betrayal even happens.
Okay, set the scene.
So we are heading into this episode with what is supposed to be a beautiful, highly aesthetic milestone. Jessica and Cheyenne are trying to execute a stunning beach wedding in Florida.
Right. They rented this gorgeous house. They have a dock out back. They're going for that breezy Pinterest board aesthetic.
But because it is this specific family, nothing is allowed to be peaceful. Almost immediately, a massive storm pattern rolls in off the coast.
Oh, the storm. Edie is literally holding her phone up, tracking the radar, and she describes it out loud as a red cloud headed our way.
Which is heavy-handed foreshadowing provided by the actual meteorology of the state of Florida.
It is so incredibly ominous. A literal swirling red cloud of drama is hovering over this beach house.
Exactly. And because of this red cloud, they are forced to completely abandon the beach concept and move the entire wedding setup inside the rental house.
And anyone who has ever planned an event knows that the weather pivot is an absolute nightmare. The spatial logistics change, the lighting is ruined. That alone is enough to make a bride snap.
That is just the baseline level of environmental stress. But the weather is nothing compared to the emotional climate being generated by the matriarch. We need to break down Mama June's behavior leading up to this ceremony.
The Junezilla energy was suffocating.
It was radiating through the television screen at radioactive levels.
Let's talk about the confessionals. Because leading up to her own daughter's wedding day, June sits down in front of a camera crew and openly, casually admits that she strongly dislikes Cheyenne.
She doesn't just admit it, she practically builds a legal case against her.
The audacity is staggering. Like, your daughter is getting married.
Yeah.
Even if you despise the person, society dictates that you fake it. You put on a floral dress, you drink a glass of cheap champagne, and you keep your mouth shut.
But she is pathologically incapable of faking it, because faking it would mean decentering herself. If she cannot be the celebrated director of the event, she will immediately cast herself as the tragic victim of it.
Yes. She accuses Cheyenne of intentionally isolating Jessica from the family, which is such a classic manipulation tactic.
Precisely. And then she pulls out the ultimate reality TV trope. She claims Cheyenne is rapidly draining Jessica's money.
Oh, the money accusation. It is so wildly inappropriate. I immediately thought about her own narcissist moms making a sibling's big day entirely about themselves. There is zero emotional regulation happening.
Zero. Her brain automatically generates crises to force Jessica to keep engaging with her. It's highly destructive.
And the only person trying to manage this fallout is Justin Stroud, Splenda Bear himself.
Justin's role here is genuinely fascinating. He is acting as a sole voice of reason. He is essentially warning June that her constant meddling is going to permanently sever her relationships with her daughters.
Okay, wait, I need your analytical take on this. Is Justin genuinely trying to play family therapist here? Or is he just completely, utterly exhausted by the Junezilla energy, and he's just trying to placate her for 5 minutes of peace?
It's a very fair question. I don't think his motives are purely altruistic. I think it is pure, unadulterated survival.
Survival, like he's just tired of the yelling.
Deeper than that, he is legally tethered to Mama June. He realizes that if June successfully alienates every single one of her children, he becomes the sole emotional dumping ground.
Oh my God. If the kids stop calling, June's entire hurricane of anxiety gets directed solely at him.
Exactly. He's the last man standing. He's desperately trying to do damage control so the kids stay in the picture to absorb some of the impact.
That is so bleak, but it makes so much sense. And you see June's complete lack of self-awareness, even in the hotel situation.
Oh, the hotel arrangement is a masterclass in cognitive dissonance. Let's break it down. Trina is staying in the bunk bedroom at the rental house, wrangling all of the kids.
Right. Doing the heavy, unglamorous lifting of childcare. And where is June? June has secured her own private, separate hotel room away from the venue.
Which she frames as a martyrdom. She literally looks at the camera and says staying in a quiet, air-conditioned, private hotel room is, quote, what an unselfish mom does.
I yelled at my screen. The mental gymnastics are Olympic level. I am abandoning the physical labor of childcare and isolating myself in a suite with room service as an act of selfless sacrifice.
How?
You construct it by starting with the conclusion that you are a good mother and working backward to manipulate the evidence at a terrifying level of delusion.
And it's immediately undercut when she pivots to showing off her new tattoo. Trina hasn't slept in 3 days, and June is like, anyway, do you want to see my fresh ink?
Exactly. But the panic surrounding this beach wedding goes way beyond June's hotel room. The structural integrity of the ceremony completely collapses. We need to discuss the efficient disaster.
This is where my anxiety truly spiked. So, the plan was for Josh Pumpkin's ex-husband to officiate the wedding. Let's just pause and examine the fundamental flaw in that blueprint.
It makes no sense. Why is your sister's ex-husband, a man who is currently navigating a highly volatile separation from your sibling, the person you entrust with your romantic commitment.
It speaks to the deeply enmeshed, almost claustrophobic nature of this family. They would rather use a highly antagonistic family member than hire a neutral professional.
It's a trauma bond masquerading as loyalty. But of course, the terrible plan yields terrible results
Mhm.
because Josh is totally MIA.
Missing in action. He is a ghost. The clock is ticking down, the rain is pouring outside, and no one can find the man with the script.
The frantic energy is palpable. They're calling his phone, it's going straight to voicemail. The panic is so real. And babes, this is when June strikes.
It is textbook opportunism.
Yes. June immediately steps up and offers to go online, drop $100 on an internet ministry credential, and take over the ceremony herself.
She sees a void in the attention economy, and she rushes in to fill it. She doesn't view the missing officiant as a crisis for her daughter. She views it as a strategic opportunity for her own ego.
The day Mama June saved the wedding.
Exactly. But I have to give the girls immense credit here.
Oh, they handled it brilliantly. They aggressively shut her down. They burst into that sharp, stressed, slightly manic, panic laughter.
The laughter of pure defense. They essentially tell her to sit back down and hush.
Yes, sit back and hush. They knew that if June married them, she would hold it over their heads for the rest of their lives. They protected their peace by rejecting her help.
And fortunately, Heather, who is a Florida notary, steps up to the plate as the backup plan.
Heather is the unsung hero. Boom, backup plan secured. But babes, we cannot talk about Josh being MIA without digging into the psychological reasons why he abandoned his post. We need to explain this deeply messy family tree dynamic.
We really do need a whiteboard for this. Let's lay out the facts. Pumpkin leaves Josh. She then begins a new romantic relationship with Darren Kitchens.
And babes, Darren is Josh's biological cousin.
Let that sit in the air for a moment. Pumpkin is currently actively dating her ex-husband's blood cousin.
I was reading the Reddit threads this morning, and the Snark squad was losing their absolute minds. One user wrote, "What in the cousin siblings is going on here?"
It is an incredibly tangled social web, and from Josh's perspective, this is a profound, deeply personal violation of his own foundational tribe.
It is, because it means he can't even retreat to his own family for comfort.
Exactly. There is no safe harbor.
But look, Josh is dealing with his own massive personal spirals. The man is busy, he has a brand new girlfriend, Brianna, and he already has another baby on the way with her. He is moving on at warp speed.
But the speed at which he is moving on is entirely reactive. He's trying to outpace the humiliation, and all of this boiling tension finally erupts right before the wedding at the bachelorette party.
The bachelor party at the rental house. The vibes are seemingly good, and then suddenly, in the middle of the night, Josh materializes in the driveway.
He doesn't show up to apologize. He rolls up because he wants to physically beat Darren's behind.
He is looking for a violent altercation. But what I found absolutely hilarious was what the family was actually vocalizing fear over inside the house.
It is a masterclass in displacement.
Yes. Two grown men are about to engage in a bare-knuckle brawl over deeply rooted generational betrayal. And what are the girls screaming inside? They're screaming about losing the security deposit on the rental house.
It is high comedy. They cannot process the massive reality that their family is permanently shattered, so they focus on a tangible, manageable problem, a $500 Airbnb cleaning fee.
Like, go ahead and destroy the family tree, but do not let the landlord keep my money. It is the most relatable they have ever been, honestly.
But eventually, the physical disaster is narrowly avoided, which brings us to the actual day of the ceremony. Josh finally makes his grand entrance.
2.5 hours late. Babes, if someone is 2.5 hours late to my wedding, lock the doors. But he walks in completely unapologetic and gives his speech.
The entire first half of the speech is a completely self-indulgent airing of grievances.
He literally starts by calling out the people in the room that he openly despises. Tolerated ex-in-laws. It is breathtakingly self-centered.
He is establishing dominance. He goes on the attack to publicly acknowledge how difficult it is for him personally to be standing there.
I was cringing so hard. But I hate to admit this, babes. The pivot he does actually works. The second half of this speech becomes incredibly sweet.
It does. It shows he understands what love is supposed to look like. And the vows themselves were genuinely touching.
Shannon talking about loving Jessica to infinity and beyond. Babes, I melted.
A beautiful mispronunciation of infinity and beyond?
I wanted on a t-shirt.
Oh.
And the reception food looked incredible. Southern comfort food. The mac and cheese, the fried chicken, the red velvet cake.
It was a very grounding, warm, familial party.
But babes, we are seasoned veterans of reality television. I was watching this sweet ceremony, and I started to feel sick to my stomach. Because when a producer gives you 15 consecutive minutes of pure joy, you know exactly what is coming.
It is the cinematic calm before the storm, the producer edit. They lull you into a false sense of security so they can absolutely obliterate your emotional state with the climax.
Obliterate me they did, babes. I completely lost my mind. The final betrayal drops, and it takes a chainsaw to the family tree.
It recontextualizes the entire season. The tension between Pumpkin and Jessica finally boils over and the dark secret is exposed.
Threesome. The literal actual threesome. Okay, let me explain this to the Snark Squad. It is revealed that on the exact same night that Josh packed his bags and walked out of Pumpkin's house, he went directly to have a threesome with Jessica and her now wife, Cheyenne.
The sheer velocity of the betrayal is staggering. Your marriage ends and your immediate next stop is your newly ex-sister-in-law's bed.
I am pacing the unmitigated cruelty of it to do it on the night he left Pumpkin.
It is an act of total emotional annihilation. And the confrontation is explosive. Pumpkin is screaming at them. But we have to dissect the excuse that Jessica and Cheyenne try to use to defend this behavior.
Oh, the excuse makes my blood boil. They try to claim that they just wanted a baby, and since Josh's kids are healthy, they thought he would make a great sperm donor.
They are aggressively trying to frame an immensely destructive physical betrayal as a purely logical, clinical, medical transaction.
It is so insulting. You are using sterile language to sanitize a massive ethical violation.
It's cognitive dissonance in real time. They cannot accept that they are villains in Pumpkin's story, so they construct a narrative where they are just future mothers seeking a viable genetic sample.
But the logic completely collapses. A snarker on Reddit wrote, "If you want your sister's ex-husband's sperm, put it in a cup. You don't need to sleep with him together. Use a turkey baster."
Exactly. Sperm donation does not require a group physical encounter on the night of his marital separation.
You don't accidentally slip and fall into a threesome. And to gaslight Pumpkin into thinking this was some noble quest for motherhood. Cruel.
And we have to turn the spotlight onto Josh's behavior because his compartmentalization is terrifying. The online community labeled him the community penis.
Yes, the community penis. Let's review the timeline. He is sleeping with his ex-wife's sister, his ex's sister's fiancé, and he is getting his brand new girlfriend pregnant all at the same time.
Operating with zero impulse control.
And yet he has the nerve to show up at the bachelorette party furious because Pumpkin moved on with Darren. The hypocrisy.
It tracks with a highly narcissistic worldview where the rules only apply to other people.
The devastation Pumpkin is feeling, surrounded by half-eaten cupcakes, realizing her sister and her ex colluded to betray her. And then Jessica and Cheyenne try to turn it around on her.
The desperate flailing, they immediately resort to whataboutism by bringing up Pumpkin's hall pass conversation.
The absolute nerve. Okay, early on, Pumpkin and Darren had a purely hypothetical conversation about the concept of a hall pass.
A conversation. And Jessica and Cheyenne try to equate a hypothetical conversation with a literal premeditated threesome involving a family member's ex-husband. It is a logical fallacy on a massive scale.
It makes zero sense. And Pumpkin rightly shuts it down. She said she won't let them use her past to cover up what they did. But babes, you know what the most terrifying observation of this entire screaming match was?
Mama June.
Yes. Mama June, the loudest person in any room, sat completely, totally, eerily quiet during this massive blow-up.
She was just sitting there blinking.
Why do you think she was quiet? Did she actually feel bad?
No, the chaos simply exceeded her processing speed. She couldn't figure out a way to immediately center herself in it. She had no script for it.
Wow. When June is too stunned to speak, you know the situation is genuinely unfixable. The system has crashed.
It is a genuine psychological nightmare. Which brings us to our segments, because analyzing this behavior requires us to test these personalities against different stressors.
Yes. Segment 1. Absolutely. Not surviving the camping trip. Let's connect this TV trauma back to our morning crisis. Which cast members would spectacularly fail on a family camping vacation?
Who is your first draft pick?
Josh. Josh would absolutely fail within the first 10 minutes.
Let's hear the rationale.
He wouldn't even attempt to be part of the group. The second they parked, he would wander directly into the deep woods, purely to avoid making eye contact with Darren.
He would become a feral woodsman out of sheer social avoidance.
Exactly. Meanwhile, Darren is back at the campsite, calmly unpacking the hot dogs. My next pick is Alana.
Oh, she has ascended past the family drama.
She really has. She wouldn't even take her duffel bag out of the trunk. She would calmly get back into the driver's seat and drive back to Colorado.
Geographic distance, good for her. My pick, obviously, is Mama June. She would complain about the lack of municipal Wi-Fi and isolate herself in the running SUV with the AC blasting.
And claim she is being an unselfish mom by staying out of the way.
Right.
So true. Okay, segment 2. Family group chat crimes. Discussing the worst types of messages people send in family group chats.
The group chat is a digital panopticon, a breeding ground for interpersonal crime.
My biggest family group chat crime is the vague booking guilt trip from the narcissist mothers. Someone asks what time dinner is, and the mom replies with something totally unrelated like, I guess nobody cares I had a migraine, but dinner's at 6.
Weaponized ambiguity. It demands a performative emotional wellness check. My biggest crime is the hit and run.
Oh no, the digital grenade.
Yes, dropping a massive destabilizing bombshell into the chat and then immediately putting the phone on do not disturb.
Leaving everyone else to absolutely spiral.
Yep.
My aunt does that every Thanksgiving with the turkey. But the worst one is the accidental text.
Sending a text about someone directly to the group chat containing that person.
You just have to fake your own death at that point. Okay, segment 3. Most delusional behavior. Who is operating on the purest denial this episode?
The bar is incredibly high.
I firmly argue it's Jessica and Cheyenne. The sheer denial required to genuinely try and convince yourselves that sleeping with Josh was just a logical sperm donation transaction.
A medicalization of the betrayal.
Yes. To think that action wouldn't nuke your family from orbit, that is delusion on a cellular level.
Very strong argument, but I am going to push back. Jessica and Cheyenne were delusional about the consequences, but Mama June is delusional about her identity.
Unpack that.
To genuinely believe that paying $100 for an internet certificate makes you magically qualified to fix years of family trauma with a single performative gesture, that is pathological delusion.
Damn. Yeah, the PDF download of redemption. June wins. Okay, final segment, the Would You Rather Family Edition.
Let's aggressively spiral. Would you rather go camping with your extended family for an entire week in the deep woods? Or be trapped in an active family group chat with no mute button allowed forever?
A week in the woods implies severe physical discomfort and no escape. But it has a defined endpoint. 7 days.
The group chat is forever. A constant low-level radiation of anxiety humming in your pocket.
I hear your logic. But babes, you are underestimating my aversion to nature. I will take the buzzing phone forever because I have a comfortable velvet couch to wage digital warfare from. In the woods, my mom is standing 3 feet away from me. I cannot put her face down on a counter.
I fundamentally disagree. I think the psychological drip of the eternal group chat would erode your sanity. In the woods, you can utilize physical evasions, you can feign a stomach bug and stay zipped in the tent. I will take the 7 days of concentrated physical misery in exchange for a lifetime of digital peace.
We are fundamentally different people, and that is exactly why this dynamic works. You are a tactician, and I am just trying to preserve my skincare routine at all costs.
The duality of the human condition.
Truly. Oh my gosh, babes, we have completely unpacked this mess, and my heart rate is finally returning to normal.
It was an arduous journey.
It really was. We need to wrap this up because I actually have to go pretend to be a professional adult now. Snark Squad, thank you so much for hanging out with us before work.
We truly appreciate you starting this messy day with us.
Yes. Babes, please remember to hit subscribe wherever you are listening right now.
Then leave us a comment. Tell us your thoughts on the threesome defense, the efficient disaster, and expose your family group chat crimes.
Share this podcast with that one messy friend who lives for the drama. You know who they are. And please send the Snark Squad your own shady, snarky family stories. We want to read them.
It is a safe space for absolute dysfunction.
Honestly, babes, I am still buzzing from that McDonald's frap. My hands are slightly shaking.
You are going to experience a spectacular physiological crash around 2 p.m.
Oh, I fully plan to just stare blankly at my computer monitor all afternoon. But circling back to the camping trip, realistically, neither of us could survive even one single night in the tent.
Not a chance in hell.
We would both end up ordering Uber Eats takeout to the edge of the woods and sleeping in the locked, fully air-conditioned safety of our cars.
While eating lukewarm chicken nuggets in the dark. We know exactly who we are.
We absolutely do. Babes, survive your group chats, delete the accidental texts, do not let anyone buy an efficient license on the internet, stay caffeinated, stay chaotic,
Yeah.
and we will see you on the Snark side.